Alright, so it looks like I get to have my own Christmas in July because every show needs its Christmas special, and Hearthwarming Eve is Friendship of Magic's first one. And that's not why I'm on a couch now, I just need the other space for something, so looks like I'm gonna have to get used to this. But anyway, so like I said, this is the Christmas special, and it begins. The main characters have all been summoned to Canterlot, where the princess lives, and the main character Twilight used to live before this whole thing started. And they've been summoned there because the princess wants them to put on the biggest play of the season about how Hearthwarming Eve came to be. So it's a big honor. Everyone is thrilled except Fluttershy. She's scared to perform. So okay, and they get there. They explore the town, and they have some fun just looking at the Hearthwarming Eve decorations. And okay, and then they get ready for the show. They bicker a bit backstage because that's the closest thing we're going to have to an arc, the resolution to that. And then they take the stage. They perform the show, which is the main focus of this episode, about how back before Princess Celestia was the princess, and I guess before everything, just the three tribes, the Earth ponies, because just ponies isn't good enough, and the Pegasuses, or as Pinkie Pie says, Pegasuses, and the unicorns, they had a very tentative peace. They all had something the other one needed, so they just, they didn't live together, they just sort of had a system worked out based on that, and they didn't trust each other, and so, yeah, we got some world building here, I guess is what it counts for, but, anyway, so yeah, they all, had this tentative peace, and then a blizzard came that wiped out the crops of the Earth ponies, and the unicorns and the Pegasi all say they couldn't fix it. So, yeah, they all started fighting about it. They all were blaming each other, and eventually they struck out to find a new land. And so we get the leader of the Pegasi, is played by Rainbow Dash, and her sidekick is Fluttershy. And yeah, Pinkie Pie leads the Earth ponies with Applejack, and Rarity leads the unicorns with Twilight. So it's like all of the characters who have rash personalities or just like personalities that are hard to get along with are the leaders because they're not getting along, and all the characters who are more reasonable are the sidekicks because, well, that comes into play later. But actually, maybe you could switch Pinkie Pie and Applejack around because I know Pinkie Pie always seems very cheerful, I guess, where Applejack can be stubborn, but it's like, no, you have to have the worst one to be the leader in charge. And I mean, Pinkie Pie is playing basically an airhead here, and similar to herself, but like much less reasonable, much more narcissistic version. So, okay, so she is impossible to get along with, and then yeah, the play about how they moved to a new land, which then they all got there at the same time and started fighting over it, and then winter came and wiped out the land there too, and drove them into a cave where the leaders froze over. The sidekicks realized that the fighting itself was actually to blame for the winters because it had summoned the spirits of the Wendigos, which we can't have cannibalism here, so instead the mythology is that they feed on hate, and they're powered, or they are just spirits of cold, so the more hate, the more cold, and that's what's attracting them, is hate. So then the sidekicks decide to go the opposite route, befriend each other, they drive away the spirits, they form Hearthwarming Eve from the date, and then from the occasion, I mean, and okay, and all is well, and then the play is a big success, and the friends are, well, they start fighting again afterwards over who left the window open when they hear the roar of the Wendigos, so they, Rainbow Dash runs over to shut it, and they laugh it up together, so, okay, and yeah, if you think about it, this is kind of the definition of an inconsequential episode. It's just, it's not even really about the main, well, beginning and end are, but the story here isn't really even the main characters. It's just sort of using their personalities for a whole new story. Just, I mean, about characters cut not entirely not quite the same, which is I mean, it's appreciable how they're different but sort of cut from the same cloth. And just, yeah, there's nothing to, I mean, there's the world building, of course. I'm sure the fans loved that. But, yeah, really character progression or exploration. It just, yeah, something off to the side, a one-off thing just to try it. So, yeah, this is pretty much the definition of an inconsequential episode, like I said. But that said, though, it's a very solid and very enjoyable episode. And I mean, and it has its moments where it really does feel like the holidays. Like when they're first getting into town, and I mean, this is the episode's strength too. They just have a lot of fun with the visuals. 8-foot candy cane is, well, I did the measurements, not me, so I reserve the right to be wrong. But okay, that with little ponies getting their tongues stuck to it in the cold, and just everybody just cheering on the train ride there. Rarity with a Christmas hat that Pinkie Pie then pops out of when after she first reveals it. Like Pinkie Pie is just taking the trip inside Rarity's hat. But, I don't know, just off the wall visuals and stuff, and just all in all ways that are supposed to be them having fun with the season, just enjoying the festivities and the where Pinkie Pie eats a gingerbread house. I couldn't do that moment justice. So I mean, yeah, there's that, just them having fun with it, and this story, it may not be about the main characters, but I mean, it's a pretty enjoyable story actually. It just the way, like I said, they use sort of the cloth the main characters are made from to just form these entirely new ones. But Rainbow Dash is a commander who just wants to fight, wants to conquer. It's like I don't know, King Leonidas or something like that. But and then Fluttershy is the sidekick that she's pushing around. I think she said Private Pansy, but I might have heard that wrong. And Pinkie Pie is this chancellor that's trying to come up with all these great ideas that just make no sense, like cutting holes in a map so she can see through it while she plasters it to her face. So I guess that's somehow supposed to help her read it better but she can't see where she's going if she doesn't have eye holes in it. Okay, there's that. Rarity is the spoiled, rotten princess who doesn't want to go anywhere, or wants to travel to find the new land, but doesn't actually want to do any of the work, so she starts using Twilight as an actual pony just to transport her all over the place. But okay, so they have a lot of fun with that, and it's also a clever touch is how when we're seeing it from the audience's perspective, with Spike as the narrator, when Spike is actually in the shot, it just looks like a play with production values. Everything is made of cardboard and on string. But as we start to get into the story, they sort of cleverly shift it to where it looks like it's actually happening. Like all the rooms and the places that they're traveling to, they're all much bigger than they could actually be on this stage. They're fully encompassing everything, and in the animation to the special effects, it looks like it's just actually happening as it would in a regular episode, instead of using cardboard cutouts and stuff. And then, and that's sort of how the story cleverly shifts. I mean, we're supposed to, I think at the beginning, just see it as a generic sort of morality piece that some school might put on, just like they didn't get along, they had to learn. But then, as the episode goes on, you get less of the production design, the stage look, and more of the real look, and it does sort of try to get you more into this conflict. I mean, because at the very end, when the scene where the leaders get frozen over, by that point, it's full-blown serious. Like, you're actually supposed to feel the weight of this conflict, and it actually is another moment where they make it sort of feel like the holiday. They give you the holiday spirit, because I think it might be partly because of the background track. But the leaders, they keep fighting over the space and the cave they've been driven into, and I mean, it's silly, but it also starts to get like genuinely mean, I guess, instead of just comically mean. And so yeah, they freeze over, still cursing the other tribes and stuff. So okay, and meanwhile the sidekicks, who are Twilight, Fluttershy, and Applejack, they're already sort of the most I guess or the least aggressive, the most sort of understanding, well, but the most warm character towards each other, I guess I should say, essentially. And yeah, these are specifically they're specifically in those modes. This isn't. I mean, we've all seen exceptions to this, but no, this is them in their reasonable mode, and they're all driven together. And as the whole cave is freezing over, and so it's like the leaders who have been just making sure they never had the chance to talk to each other, they're frozen over. So now it's for the first time only these sidekicks in the picture, and they're all, just like scared to death. They're actually sort of like scared into each other's arms because, while looking around trying to figure out what's going on. And then they notice these Wendigos, and Twilight explains that her mentor, and I did recognize that her mentor is Star Swirl the Bearded, the same character she dressed up as on Halloween, so what was it, Nightmare Night. So so that's another little building here, but and she says that she learned that they're Wendigos from him, and I already explained what they do. So and they realize it's because of all the hatred, and I know I've been getting sidetracked on this moment, but like I said, this is the moment where really sort of you do feel that holiday spirit. They realize what's happening is because of the anger, and they don't just try to go full-blown dramatic like speeches renouncing everything. Like they actually, how they reconcile it, like Fluttershy starts out, she's like, well, I don't hate you, I actually hate Rainbow Dash's character much more than I hate you, and they all start laughing it up over that. And it's just like they sort of start to come together without realizing they are, like just sort of making each other laugh, and then realizing that it is sort of nice to just they I think sort of assume that they're going to be frozen regardless, but it's like the last wish, the last pleasure is to realize that this hatred has just been miserable, and it is finally it's nice to finally just come together and enjoy each other's company, and then they're frozen over, and then at the last minute, and this is the only part I might have changed a little, but Twilight shoots out this burning magic that takes the form of a flaming heart, which might be a little bit of overkill, but and that drives the Wendigos back into the corner, and I should have said too, it's a very clever moment where the Wendigos notice they're coming together and realize what's about to happen and try to turn it on full force, but yeah, at the last minute they're driven back by this burning heart, and it's only the first step though. They notice it, they realize that what they've done together and that they need to keep going with it, so they sing all the carols that, world building again, become the carols that they sing on Hearthstone Eve, and and they thaw everyone out, and they join together, and they form the land of Equestria, because after they are thawed out and come to realize what a good thing they've got here. So that was a really great moment. It was like some genuine joy there, some genuine goodwill, and I guess otherwise, and then there was also the moment at the end where they realized they're doing the same things the characters in the play, and Rainbow Dash, who was, I guess, the most accusatory voice, actually said, okay, I'll shut the window, and they all laugh it up. So that was really nice, and like I said, I already described the ways too. This episode is just big on visuals, and how they cleverly weave them in, and just what they come up with too is, I guess it's not like exotic visuals, it's just sort of clever visuals, I'll say that, but so there's that, and they incorporate everyone, including the Key Mark Crusaders there in the audience, so that's a clever little bit too. They all have a roll here for the Christmas special. So, okay, so like I said, just very inconsequential episode. You wouldn't technically miss anything if you cut it out, but it is just very solid and very enjoyable, and it does sometimes feel sort of like the holidays, so it is a success as a Christmas episode, Christmas special. So, okay, it's all well and good. This episode, I'm going to get the order wrong, but I believe it's Family Appreciation Day, so, okay, I'll see you there.